Hello and welcome. This is Notibot Yenji. Tonight, we bring you the latest updates on the escalating tensions in the Middle East. The Iran war rages on, with the Strait of Hormuz still blocked, despite U.S. efforts to broker a deal with Iran. The situation has drawn comparisons to the death of American democracy, as U.S. President Trump's actions raise questions about the limits of presidential power. We'll also be covering the G7's response to the conflicts, Rubio's assessment of the U.S. war, and the EU's efforts to find a solution to the Strait of Hormuz crisis. Global tensions continue to escalate as the Iran conflict enters its critical phase, with the fate of the Strait of Hormuz still hanging in the balance. A devastating air campaign rages across the Middle East as tensions escalate in the Iran-Israel conflict. The assault, which began on Friday evening, has seen loud explosions rock the Israeli city of Tel Aviv, with emergency crews responding to nearly a dozen impact sites. Iran, meanwhile, has been targeted in airstrikes on sites in the heart of Tehran, where ballistic missiles and other weapons are produced. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry confirmed it shot down missiles and drones targeting the capital, Riyadh. The assault has also affected neighboring countries, with Kuwait's Shuwaik port in Kuwait City and the Mubarak al-Kabir port, under construction as part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, sustaining material damage. In Lebanon, 2 people have been killed. China has emerged as a key player in the conflict, with President Trump criticizing NATO allies for their unwillingness to provide military support to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The strait, a vital waterway for global oil supplies, has remained blocked since January, with Iran refusing to lift the blockade. The situation has significant implications for global energy markets and the stability of the region. The United States, under President Trump, has been seeking to isolate Iran and pressure it to lift the blockade. The attacks on Iranian targets and Chinese-affiliated projects in the Gulf region have raised concerns about the escalation of the conflict and the potential for wider regional instability. As the world grapples with the consequences of Trump's Iran strike, a disturbing trend emerges: the erosion of democratic values and accountability in America. On February 28, 2026, the United States launched a surprise military operation in Iran, known as Operation Epic Fury, without any congressional debate or public deliberation. The strikes, which targeted Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and multiple senior officials, have been widely condemned as a brazen disregard for democratic norms and the rule of law. The operation was carried out in the dead of night, with top lawmakers notified only minutes before the strikes began. The White House claimed that the operation was justified as a case of collective self-defense under the UN Charter, but this claim is dubious given that Iran had not struck American soil. Administration officials released conflicting statements about the aims of the operation, ranging from ending Iran's nuclear program to outright regime change, language that has no grounding in any congressional mandate or democratic debate. Senator Andy Kim, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, has described the situation as performative chaos, stating that lawmakers and the American public were being asked to accept military escalation without understanding the endgame. The lack of transparency and clarity from the Trump administration has been particularly egregious, with lawmakers demanding classified briefings only to be met with stonewalling. The operation has also had significant consequences for global energy markets, with oil prices surging in response to the strikes. The implications of this action are far-reaching, and it remains to be seen how this will shape the future of American democracy and its relationships with the world. As tensions continue to escalate globally, the Group of 7 nations are now being urged to find a delicate balance between addressing ongoing conflicts. The 2-day G7 summit in the French countryside kicked off on Thursday, with foreign ministers from the 7 major economies gathering to discuss the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict and the Iran wars. The meeting, which is the first major gathering of the G7 on the continent in over a decade, aimed to address the global implications of these crises and find ways to balance competing interests. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian, and Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba were among the key players present at the summit. The meeting also saw the participation of other major European powers, including Germany, Italy, and the United Kingdom. Analysts say that the summit is crucial in determining how the G7 responds to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which has been ongoing since 2014. The crisis has led to significant economic sanctions against Russia, which has had far-reaching implications for global trade and energy markets. The summit also comes as the United States is seeking to increase pressure on Iran over its nuclear program. The U.S. is pushing for a more aggressive approach, while European allies are more cautious. The meeting will provide an opportunity for the G7 to present a united front on these issues, with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio set to deliver a key speech on Friday. The outcome of the summit is expected to shape the global agenda on these issues for the rest of the year. According to Senator Rubio, a U.S. military operation in Iran may be nearing its conclusion, with an expected timeline of just a couple of weeks. Good evening, I'm your name, and this is a news recap. The United States is nearing the end of its operations in Iran, according to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Rubio stated that the objectives of the U.S. operations in Iran are being achieved and are ahead of schedule. He made this statement during a meeting of foreign ministers from the G7 in France. The U.S. and Israel launched the war on Iran on February 28, and several top Iranian leaders have been killed since then. Rubio mentioned that the U.S. is sending troops to the area to give President Trump options. Trump has consistently stated that the operations in Iran would last 4 to 7 weeks. Rubio's prediction that the operations will be completed in the next couple of weeks fits with Trump's earlier predictions. However, Rubio also mentioned that it was a matter of weeks, not months. The U.S. has been sending a 15-point plan to Iran, which includes proposals for the country's nuclear program and other issues. The U.S. has been trying to negotiate with Iran, but it's unclear who is left to represent the country. Rubio stated that the U.S. has received messages from Iran, but it's unclear what they mean. Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, expressed hope that there would be meetings between the U.S. and Iran this week. Witkoff stated that the 15-point plan would solve the conflict if Iran responds positively. The situation in Iran is complex and sensitive, and it's unclear how the U.S. and Iran will resolve their differences. The international community is watching the situation closely, and it remains to be seen how it will unfold. As the Islamic Republic of Iran continues to face mounting international pressure, it's increasingly turning to the dark world of biker gangs and hired hands. Monday's firebombing of 4 ambulances in Golders Green, a Jewish charity in North London, has raised concerns about Iran's increasing involvement in terrorism. The attack, which injured several people, was claimed by a group linked to the Iranian regime, although the authenticity of the claim has yet to be verified. Mohsen Rafidoust, a former minister of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has been linked to the attack. In an interview from last March, Rafidoust fondly reminisced about the assassinations he had orchestrated around Europe, including the murder of Prince Shahryar Shafi, the last Shah of Iran's 34-year-old nephew, and Jin Ghulam Ali Ovaisi, the Shah's final commander-in-chief. Experts say that Rafidoust's comments may be evidence of Iran's involvement in the attack on the ambulances. The use of intermediaries, such as an Egyptian cleric based in Germany, to carry out the attack and distance Iranian officials from direct attribution, is also consistent with previous allegations of Iranian involvement in terrorism. The attack on the ambulances is the latest in a series of incidents targeting Jewish communities in the UK. In recent years, there have been a number of incidents, including a 2019 attack on a synagogue in Colindale, which left 1 person injured. The UK government has been criticized for its response to the incidents, with some arguing that it has not done enough to prevent further attacks. The attack on the ambulances is a significant concern, as it highlights the growing threat of terrorism posed by Iran and its proxies. The incident also raises questions about the role of British law enforcement agencies in preventing and investigating terrorist attacks. As tensions escalate in global food markets, Brussels is now urging Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway crucial for grain exports. The European Union is urging the Black Sea grain model to be extended to the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway in the Middle East. This call comes from the EU envoy, who recently spoke with Euronews about the issue. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital shipping lane that connects Europe to Asia, and its closure could have significant economic implications for the EU. The EU envoy emphasized the importance of maintaining the free flow of trade, particularly in light of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. The Black Sea grain model, which allows grain exports from Ukraine to continue, has been successful in maintaining stability in the region. The EU envoy believes that a similar model could be applied to the Strait of Hormuz, where Iranian naval restrictions have been a major obstacle to trade. The EU's proposal is seen as a way to counterbalance the influence of other regional powers, particularly Iran. By extending the Black Sea grain model to the Strait of Hormuz, the EU hopes to demonstrate its commitment to maintaining global trade routes and ensuring the stability of the world's most critical shipping lanes. This move could also have broader implications for EU foreign policy, as it would mark a significant shift in the EU's approach to dealing with regional conflicts. That's all for today's news recap. Thank you for watching. For the latest updates, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. Stay informed on the world's most pressing issues, from geopolitics to global events. We'll keep you updated as the situation develops. We'll be back with more news soon. Until then, goodbye.